Back in Kansas City for Game 2 of Day 1 of the NAIA National Championship final. Side of the round of 16. The top seed, College of Idaho Yotes, the #1 overall seed, put their 32-1 record on the line against the LSU Shreveport Pilots, the #5 seed and the Naismith Quadrant. Inside Municipal Auditorium in downtown KC, Nate Gatter with you as the starting lineups are announced. You heard it right, 32-1 for the #1 team, the unanimous #1 team in the final NAIA Coaches Poll at the end of February. That was before postseason play started, and they have done nothing but win and win big since then. A 32-1 record for the Yotes, 22-0, the regular season and tournament Cascade Conference champions. Meanwhile, for LSU, Shreveport, 26-7, 16-4 in the Red River Athletic Conference this year. Their 18th consecutive NAIA tournament appearance. Made it to the round of 16 last year, where they were dispatched by Oklahoma Wesleyan. Last got to the Fab Four back in 2018, one of 2 trips in program history, both under 11th year head coach Kyle Blankenship. The Pilots will start Calvin Carpenter, Damon Davis, Tyler Washington, Jalen Brooks, and Stacy Thomas. Washington and Thomas at 6'8", and they will provide the majority of the size. Meanwhile, the Yotes will have Caden Handran, Charles Elzy, Tyler Robinette, Jake O'Neill, and Drew Wyman. Not a tremendous amount of size in that starting group. Handran at 6'6", and Robinette 6'7". The 2 tallest on the floor for the Yotes in white and Shreveport in purple. It's purple on purple, if you will. Both teams primarily purple, but Shreveport wearing the Rhodes here as the lower seed. Post touch for Stacy Thomas. He goes to Jalen Brooks, off for the mid-range, and the first rebound belongs to Charles Elzy. Knocked out of bounds last off of the Pilots, so the Yotes will have it. It's a very balanced group for them. In fact, their leading scorer, Johnny Radford, not in their starting lineup. He's only started once this year. A lot of consistency in this starting group for Colby Blaine in his 5th season as the Yotes head coach. 3 players, Elzy, O'Neill, and Wyman, have started all 33 games for the Yotes. Robinette has started 32, and Handran has started 31. You can add one to all their tallies with game number 34 today. Kick out to Elzy. He finds Handran, has to hurry. Good look for Wyman. Left it short, but the offensive rebound and stick back by Robinette. Sophomore from Middleton, Idaho. Averages 10.5 points a game. One of 4 different players who averages in double figures, and that doesn't even count Charles Elzy, who averages 9.7. 3 ball from the corner by Tyler Washington to answer. 32% three-point shooter. Rebound pulled in by Stacy Thomas. Here come the Pilots. Washington, difficult pass and an unnecessary one to Thomas. In transition, Elzy lost the handle, stolen by Davis, nicely done. He pushes the pace, and it's jam time for Jalen Brooks. 3-point lead early on for the Pilots, who will want to put the pressure on the College of Idaho from the jump. The Yotes have not been challenged a lot recently, so not only are they 32-1, the 1 was the very first game of the season. They lost their opener to Arizona Christian, one of the other favorites here in Kansas City. Good look for Robinette. He goes inside to O'Neill, left it way short. And LSU Shreveport back with the basketball, up by 3, nearly 2.5 minutes in. So not only are they 32-1, but the Yotes have won 32 games in a row since dropping the opener to ACU all the way back on November the 4th. And the last 14 of those 32 straight wins, they've won by double digits. Underneath, counted for Brooks, plus the foul. O'Neill got him in the arm, and Brooks will go to the free throw line with a chance to extend this lead for Shreveport. Here was his slam in transition moments ago. followed that up with the and one, and now at the free throw line trying to complete the conventional three-point play. Senior from Shreveport averages just under 24 points a game to lead the Pilots. 69% free throw shooter this year. Inside, good look there, and a good finish by Drew Wyman, sophomore from Great Falls, Montana. 12.2 per game for him. Pretty young starting five for the Yotes. They don't have a single senior. And Elsie, a junior, is the only upperclassman. 4 sophomores start with him. Here's Calvin Carpenter. Tough shot in traffic, couldn't get it. Rebound was loose for a moment. And here comes O'Neal away from the pack. O'Neal all the way to the rim. Big collision in midair with Tyler Washington. Jake O'Neal went down hard. And he is still down in the restricted area. Up to his feet. So we get a look at Kyle Blankenship in his 11th year as the head coach in Shreveport. Red River Athletic Conference regular season champions.
Number 12,
they have a small cheering section here behind their bench. College of Idaho, on the other hand, a lot of people have made the trip down. O'Neal left it short. 70% free throw shooter this year. College of Idaho shoots very well from the outside, 37% as a team. Just a hair under 70% at the free throw line, nothing spectacular. LSU Shreveport's lead was 8-2. Now it's down to 3 at 8-5. Yotes into a zone look. Tougaloo played a lot of zone in the first game today, and that one's thrown away. Turnover by the Pilots. Colby Blaine in his 5th season leading the College of Idaho. He's won just under 85% of his games, 134 wins, just 24 losses. Lob backdoor for Wyman denied. Carpenter comes out in transition. Has Brooks to his left and walked with it in the lane. Went into the chest of Tyler Robinette and found it unforgiving. O'Neal goes to Wyman on the block, working on Brooks. Wyman gets a little separation and finishes nicely with the right hand. That was smooth. Wyman is the first player with multiple field goals for the Yotes. He has 4. 5 straight for the College of Idaho. Carpenter on the baseline, left it short, and it's rebounded by Hanrath. In transition, Wyman, his 3 is good. Good start for the Pilots, but the Yotes have responded. They fell behind 8-2. They've scored 8 in a row since. There's Damon Davis. He's been quiet early. Good feed on the baseline for Washington, who is fouled. And he'll have 2 free throws coming. Drew Wyman has been the story for Idaho in the early going. 7 points. Got inside on Brooks for the hook shot. And splashes a 3 to make it a 2-point lead for the Yotes. Washington, an 84% foul shooter at the line. The best the Pilots have. Well, the first one is off. Max changes for the College of Idaho. They use a lot of bodies. It's a deep team. O'Neal, the only starter who remains on the floor now. Samaje Morgan Stratton Rogers are on, along with Paul Wilson and Johnny Radford, the leading scorer for the Yotes this year. Here's Morgan, freshman from Eugene, just 5'9". O'Neal works on Brooks. Gets inside and couldn't control his pass. Looking for Stratton Rogers, who had spotted up. But a turnover by the Yotes. Colby Blaine wanted a foul, didn't get it. Regardless, his club has responded, and it's a lead of 10-9 for the College of Idaho after they trailed by 6 in the early going. Interesting first 5 minutes of this game. Second of the day, end of the round of 16 in Kansas City this afternoon. Nate Gatter back with you. LSU Shreveport went out to an 8-2 lead. It was looking promising for the Pilots, trying to stage an upset of the #1 overall seed, the top team, unanimous #1 in the NAIA. Winners of 32 games in a row since their season opening loss to Arizona Christian. College of Idaho, unsurprisingly, with a strong response since. Great backdoor feed for Brooks. Jalen Brooks has 7 points to lead the Pilots, and they're back in front by 1. Mostly bench unit out there for the Yotes at the moment. The only starter still on the floor is Jake O'Neal. Here's Rogers. He goes out to O'Neal. Inside to Wilson for 2. Dangerous kick-out pass for O'Neal, but it got there. And at that point, it was a simple finish to go inside for Wilson. Yotes back into their zone. Damon Davis gets a screen. Swinging for Jordan DeQueer, the freshman off the bench. He can't get his first shot. And Wilson the rebound for the Yotes. Inside Wilson again. He was hacked and a late whistle. Definitely the right call from this angle out near half court. A couple of good baskets back to back. Good looking assists by the freshman DeQueer inside for Brooks. At the other end, it was Wilson who just had to hold his ground against Stacey Thomas, use that leverage to get it off the glass for 2. And now it is Wilson at the free throw line, 7-footer from Idaho Falls. Just a 55% foul shooter this season. The Yotes 1 for 3 in the early going at the free throw line. Wilson splits the pair. 2-point lead for the College of Idaho. The winner of this game will play our first game, 1 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday. This will be the first quarterfinal in Kansas City this year against 6-seeded Tougaloo. Carpenter working on Wilson, and the 7-footer sends him back. Carpenter will check out, replaced by Devontae Snow for Shreveport with 8 to shoot. And there's another look at the block by Wilson. Pilots trigger on the baseline into Brooks, who's fouled before the shot. It went down but will not count. Foul on the floor against the College of Idaho. That's the 3rd team foul. First one on Samaje Morgan. Biggest impact is it resets the shot clock from 8 to 20. Well, the Pilots have a little more time with which to work. Here's Snow on the attack, goes over Wilson, no whistle either way. Snow gets his own miss, goes back up, a 3rd attempt, a 4th. None of them will go down for the Pilots. One tip after another, but the Yotes clear the glass. Mentioned the winner of our first game was the number 6 seed Tougaloo, which trailed by 9 in the second half. Andran dared to take the 3, missed it short, and Brooks the rebound. Number 10 seed St. Thomas looked like it was headed to the quarterfinals, but a great surge in the final 10 minutes from the number 6 seed Bulldogs, and they await the winner of this game on Wednesday afternoon. We've seen chaos even in the round of 16 in this tournament before. Just a couple of years ago, when they would still reseed 1 through 16 based on the teams that made it here. The top 2 seeds both went down in the first round of Kansas City. Way off, got backboard first from Johnny Radford, who might have been anticipating contact there. He's an excellent three-point shooter generally. And there's a foul on Rogers at the other end. But 2 years ago, the number 1 seed Indiana Wesleyan and the number 2 seed William Penn were both beaten. And it was a Northwest team that actually did some of that damage. William Penn was blown out by Carroll College from Montana. Really good Carroll team. Power dribble by Stacey Thomas. Rebounded by Caden Handran. Scoring is slowed down. Good look for Radford. Left it short. Wilson the offensive rebound. Here's Samaje Morgan. Got Brooks in the air. Morgan with 5 to shoot. Can't turn the corner on Thomas. To the high post, he's hit and fouled. Jalen Brooks trying to come over and help out. And instead, Jalen Brooks fouling a jump shooter, just picked up his 2nd personal foul. That's 24 points a game for Shreveport. One of the highest scoring players in the country, who now has 2 fouls at the 11:39 mark of the first half. Morgan off on the first. And Brooks is going to sit down. That is a very costly foul. And Brooks, as a secondary defender, of all the ways that you wouldn't want to get a 2nd foul this early as a player who's that offensively important. He got it fouling a jump shooter with 1 on the shot clock as the secondary defender. And the primary defender was 6'8" Stacey Thomas on 5'9" Samaje Morgan. I think he had it covered. Snow takes some contact and throws it away to Radford. Morgan off his 2 misses at the free throw line. The Yotes have started cold from the stripe. But they lead by 1. Morgan's fouled. Count it. After those 2 misses, Morgan gets to the rack. He'll have another free throw coming, but made sure he got his 2 points the hard way. Davis is saying he was straight up. Got another look from this angle. I mean, he's not remotely straight up. He took a big old swipe with his right arm and then stood there with both arms in the air. Morgan gets that free throw to drop. So the Yotes are 3 of 7 at the free throw line now. Davis attacks. Thomas ended up on the floor. Snow tried to throw it to him underneath. Another Pilots turnover. Their 6th already in the first 11 minutes and change. Handran, no-look feed for Drew Wyman. Off front rim. Handran checks down the rebound. The size for the Yotes is really bothering LSU Shreveport at the moment. And a good find by Wilson to get it to the high post for Elsie. And the Yotes are seizing control. 7-point lead for the College of Idaho. They trailed 8-2, but since then, in the last 7 minutes, have reeled off a 16-3 run. 3 balls short from Tyler Washington. The Yotes look very comfortable at the moment and look every bit of the number 1 overall seed. Radford for Wilson. Whistles a skip pass to Elsie. His 3 goes down. Double-digit lead for the College of Idaho. Snow, loose underneath. Another turnover. 3 Pilots stayed trying to defend the pass out from Wilson. That leaves Radford open. Shreveport is falling apart already. 3 pilots surrounded the 7-foot Paul Wilson as though they were going to be able to bother his outlet pass. Here was his great feed on the skip pass to LZ. Back-to-back assists for him, and then in transition, easy as you like. Johnny Radford ain't missing that one. 24-11, Idaho. 13-point lead for the #1 overall seed, College of Idaho. This game was 8-2 Shreveport early, and you're wondering, could we be in for a classic NAIA round of 16 upset? Well, things haven't gone that way since. 22-3 run for the Yotes over the last 8 minutes. Short from Tyler Washington. And this is mostly a bench group who's been doing this for the College of Idaho as well. A lot of starters back in now, including Tyler Robinette. Another 3 for the College of Idaho. They've made 4 out of 10. And they've been 6 of 7 from inside the arc, especially lethal from 2-point range. DeQueer goes to Davis. He lost the handle. That's the other problem for Shreveport. 8 turnovers in just over 11 minutes. The Yotes have turned those into 10 points. Robinette again. This one's off to the left. O'Neal saves it, but can't find anybody. A rare empty possession of late for the College of Idaho. 25-3 run. Robinette only a 32% three-point shooter, but he stroked it with confidence. There's Jalen Brooks back in with 2 fouls. Desperate times call for desperate measures for the Pilots. And that's out last off of Purple, and it'll take it to the College of Idaho. Brooks has those 2 fouls. He sat down when he got the second one. It has really gotten away from Shreveport since that point. Drew Wyman working on Brooks. There's Will Mfoum off the bench, sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. Davis attacks, lost it inside again. Those passes in the paint just not working for the Pilots. Enzi in transition, Euro step for 2. A 9th Shreveport turnover. And now 12 points off of those for the College of Idaho. 29-3 run over 10 minutes. Another turnover. Make it 10 for the Pilots. Enzi inside on the pull-up. Didn't get the roll. Brooks was fouled on the rebound by O'Neal. And the Yotes make another couple of changes. O'Neal and Wyman sit down again. Rogers back on along with Henry. And a nice little teardrop from Brooks. Just about all that Shreveport has had. He has 9 of the Pilots' 13. Enzi on the pull-up. Tipped up by Robinette. Rogers is after it, but Mfoum comes away with it. Calvin Carpenter back on for Shreveport. He's been holding that right shoulder since Paul Wilson blocked his shot early on. Brooks missed and then got fouled on the follow. So Brooks will shoot 2 free throws.
15, Jim Brooks to the line, 2 shots. Bringing the pilots number 10, Devontae Snow. And for the Oaks, number 5, Johnny Henry. And 25, Paul Wilson.
Another one for Brooks. Missed him. Pretty good free throw shooter. Jalen Brooks, 69%. Nothing to write home about. It's not his strength compared to other areas, but you can expect to see him miss two. Morgan goes to Hanran. Inside 6 minutes to play in the first half. Right hand hook won't go. Stayed up on the rim for a moment, but Wilson was on the back of Snow. His first and the 7th against the Yotes, so that'll send Shreveport to the other end to shoot a 1-and-1. Devontae Snow, a 71% shooter this year. Maybe a chance for the Pilots try to get some points without having to deal with that clogged up lane that the Yotes have been so effectively creating at this end of the floor in the half court. And instead, a front end miss. 3 straight misses for the Pilots at the free throw line, and that one really has the effect of 2 misses in giving away the possible second free throw. Shreveport just 2 of 6 at the free throw line. Morgan pulls up and hits. 20-point lead for the College of Idaho. Tell you what, after we saw a genuine back-and-forth game in the opener, this has been a dominant showing from the Yotes, in particular at this end of the floor. You notice it at the offensive end. And Boone's 3 is off, rebounded by a high-flying Stratton Rogers. Here's Rogers in transition. Good look for Radford, whose feet were just a little bit out of whack on the catch. Snow finds Brooks underneath on Wilson. He's blocked. Brooks saves it in the corner. Carpenter attacks on Radford. Wilson blocks another, and this is going to be a 3-2 for Samaje Morgan at the other end. Only 2 Shreveport players even got in the backcourt at all in that sequence. And nobody was inside the three-point arc when Morgan slipped it through the net. This has been too easy for the Yotes. Brooks, good touch pass, sets up Tyler Washington. That was some nice little action for the Pilots. Got to get into the middle of that zone. We saw in the first game today that Tougaloo ran a ton of zone, and St. Thomas point guard was doing a lot of facilitating from the middle. Maybe Pilots will have to do the same, but there's just been too much traffic in there. Paul Wilson denied a couple of shots. That set up Samaje Morgan for the easy deuce at the other end, and it's all Yotes. College of Idaho has been dominant in its first game in Kansas City as the #1 overall seed this year. The Yotes lead by 20 with 4 and change to go in our first half. Nate Gatter back with you from Municipal Auditorium. Pilots into a zone look now. See if that can slow the Yotes down a little bit. It's at least kept them from creating much action here. Radford off. Offensive rebound poked out by Tyler Harris, 6'10" junior just in there. Morgan goes inside to Henran and count the basket on a goaltend. It's a 22-point lead for the Yotes. Inside, Stacey Thomas goes outside for Carpenter, and that's going to be a backcourt violation, except that Snow switched off, so Morgan gets to it first, and Hanran ends up with a wide-open layup. The Pilots are just completely coming unraveled. Snow gave up on the basketball because he knew it was going to be a backcourt violation, but in doing so, he allowed Morgan to get there first, and the hustle of the freshman created an uncontested layup for Caden Handren. The youth of this team is incredible. They don't have a single senior who's appeared in this game. Snow, tipped by Brooks, offensive interference. No, a goaltend. Whoa. Refs are going to have to talk this over. That was Brooks's hand. I didn't see any Yotes hand get up there. If anything, that was going to be offensive interference. And it is now called offensive interference on Jalen Brooks. You'll see him get up here, and that was just, the official just didn't see whose hand that was. That was a pilot's hand. Offensive interference. And now they have it sorted out. That's the right call. Don't want to belabor the point, but it is hard to believe the Pilots will have 8-2 in this game. Another easy 2 for Tyler Harris. A 26-point deficit facing Shreveport. Thomas is fouled. The scariest thing when you look at this roster, a lot of teams here in Kansas City have quite a bit of experience. Now, Shreveport is not necessarily one of them. Brooks and Thomas are both seniors, but most of their rotation should be back. What scares you about the College of Idaho is nobody in the rotation is a senior. Nobody. Another one for Thomas, and it's rebounded by Handrail. So what do you do with a team that's won 32 games in a row, the unanimous #1 team in the country, and figures, you never know these days with the transfer portal and such. Wyman off the mark on a 3, and it's rebounded by Snow. Figures to, barring transfer portal, have everybody back. Carpenter attacks on Harris, couldn't get it. Wyman, Handran, Harris, LZ. Handran fouled in traffic in the paint with 4 on the timer. It'll reset to 20. Calvin Carpenter gets the foul, his second. Still only the 6th on Shreveport, so no free throws coming yet. The Yotes will be in the bonus for the final 79 seconds of the first half. Kobe Blaine has to be thrilled with what he has seen to this point. For Yotes fans, I would think, too, obviously there's an enormous amount of excitement because they come in as the odds-on favorite. There's a 5-second violation and a turnover. Just the 4th College of Idaho turnover in the first half against a dozen for Shreveport. It feels, though, in some ways like this is almost a do-over of 2020 when they became the first Cascade Conference team to go undefeated through league play, something, of course, they've replicated with a 22-0 conference mark this year. And they entered the NAIA tournament as the #1 seed on a 25-game winning streak, so something approaching this one. There's a foul on Harris. Little shove into the lower back of Thomas, who will shoot one. But, of course, they had the 2020 tournament canceled by COVID and never got a chance to see how close they could have gotten to the Red Banner that year. And now, 3 years later, this is a heck of a club. Thomas gets the front end and earns another. And a timeout called by Kobe Blaine and the College of Idaho with a 24-point lead and 63 seconds to go in the opening half. Barring a miraculous comeback from LSU Shreveport, the #1 overall seed will advance to the quarterfinals, which will come your way in this Naismith quadrant as the first game on Wednesday. It'll be the first quarterfinal game played in Kansas City. The winner of this game, which is trending for it being the College of Idaho, but still a lot of basketball left to be played, more than 21 minutes, the entirety of the second half still. But the winner of this game will play the number 6 seed Tougaloo after the Bulldogs survived with a second half surge to pull away from a St. Thomas team that looked like it had a stranglehold on the game, or at least had its hands around the game's throat. Up by 9 in the first half, up by 9 again in the second. Tougaloo did not lead until inside the final 10 minutes. And in the end, the Bulldogs were pretty comfortable over those last couple minutes. St. Thomas got it down to 4, but had a couple of critical empty possessions, and Tougaloo won it by 6. And awaits the winner of this game at 1 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday. Thomas gets both free throws. He has 3 points. He scored them exclusively at the stripe. Neither team has shot well from deep. The Yotes had a barrage of threes there where they really stretched out the lead, but they're just 4 of 14 from three-point range, which is not very good, especially compared to their normal numbers. LZ attacks. There was a ton of contact. That's got to be a foul on somebody. Davis the other way, pulls up the foul line and sticks it. Worked out perfectly for the Pilots as well to go 2 for 1 here. They've scored 5 in a row since the Yotes made it a 26-point lead, and there's a foul called on Jordan DeQueer, the freshman. And Shreveport now over the limit. That was the 7th team foul, so LZ will shoot 1 and 1. He's a 75% foul shooter this year. College of Idaho, though, just 3 of 7 at the free throw line to this point. And Brooks coming back on now with Shreveport likely holding for the final shot. LZ gets the first. Later on today, we'll move to the Kramer quadrant. 5 o'clock this evening, OUAZ, Ottawa University of Arizona, the number 7 seed, will face the lowest remaining seed in the tournament, number 11 Southeastern. The only double-digit seed standing now after 10th seeded St. Thomas went down earlier today. And then the nightcap will be number 1 seed William Penn against 4th seeded Montana Tech. I think if the odds makers had their say, College of Idaho and William Penn are probably on a Fab 4 collision course for a date Friday night. Shreveport can have the final shot here. DeQueer with 5 is fouled, and the clock kept running another half a second or so. They're going to have to reset this. And they're going to leave it at 4.6, which is a little bit slow to stop there. But DeQueer will shoot 2 free throws on the 10th team foul of the half against the Yotes. DeQueer is a very good shooter, 51% from three-point range this year, 71 at the line. Brooks checks out now with Shreveport defending for the final 4.5 seconds. Don't want him to pick up his 3rd personal foul. Snow is back on. Another one coming for DeQueer.
Also coming in for LSU Shreveport, number 2, Will Fung.
And DeQueer steps out as well. He'll make way for Will Mfoum to defend the final 4.6. Yotes trying to get it in. Harris from midcourt, it's Rogers. Not far away. He let it go far before he had to, but that was interesting. That looked almost like a set design to get Rogers going downhill right in midcourt and get a good look at a half-court shot. So something to keep in mind if the Yotes end up in a nail-biter coming down to the buzzer later on in this tournament. This one doesn't look like a nail-biter. 21-point lead for the College of Idaho at the half. Well, those stats tell the story. Not just the two numbers on top, but every other number in front of you. It was all College of Idaho in the first half today in Kansas City. A 21-point lead for the Yotes, who led by as many as 26 in the opening stanza here in the round of 16. Nate Gatter back with you. Get a look at some of the highlights. They were few and far between for Shreveport in the first half, but Jalen Brooks had the majority of them. He went for a team-high 9 points. In fact, tied with Elsie and Wyman for the game-high. They all have 9. And Brooks was limited in part by a couple of fouls. He also missed a couple of free throws where he could be the only man at double figures. Meanwhile, for the Yotes, Drew Wyman was the star of the show. He had 9 points, including 1 three-pointer. But got a lot of help. Charles Elsie was also good. Samaje Morgan off the bench played really well. The balanced attack, as we expected. Stratton Rogers, as Elsie comes out the other way for 2 on another turnover by the Pilots, their 13th. Stratton Rogers was the only Yote to appear in the first half without scoring. Brooks attacks over Wyman. Offensive rebound by Thomas, and he had it stripped away by Elsie. Here comes O'Neal. Elsie, wide open 3, cans it. 5 quick ones for Charles Elsie to start the second half, and the lead is back out to 26 for the Yotes, matching their biggest advantage today. And this has been par for the course for them, especially over the last month or so. Good look for Brooks. Rebound batted by Thomas, but only as far as Hanran. Mentioned that they've won 32 games in a row, of course, since that season opening loss. And mentioned that the last 14 have been by double digits, but that still sells them short. Wyman can't get it, and it's rebounded by DeQueer, who did not start the game, but does begin the second half in place of Calvin Carpenter. That's off Thomas and out of bounds to the College of Idaho. Let's give you some examples of final scores for the Yotes down the stretch. How about winning 118-64, 119-60, 88-42? How about winning the Cascade Conference Tournament Championship by 31 points? They have been rolling even other good teams. Robinette for 3. 29-point Yotes lead. Looking around, I can't see any Tougaloo players or coaches in attendance. Washington misses and Elsie grabs the board. But they can't be thrilled to see this. O'Neal attacks. A rebound batted out to DeQueer. Here comes Brooks against Hanran on his own. He's fouled. Can't get it. 2 free throws coming for Jalen Brooks. But barring a comeback for the ages, it'll be the College of Idaho advancing to the quarterfinals. First game on a Wednesday afternoon, 1 o'clock Central Time. And the number 6 seed Tougaloo, by virtue of its comeback win over St. Thomas earlier today, is waiting for the winner of this one. So here's the second from Brooks. Still have 2 more games coming up for you later on this evening. Backdoor feed, O'Neal. He turns, can't get it. Brooks the rebound. Good look for Devontae Snow. Brooks soars for the rebound. Got to give credit to Jalen Brooks, senior from Shreveport, who has not slowed down even as this one has gotten away from the Pilots. He has 11 points to lead Shreveport, second only to Charles Elsie's game-high 14 for the College of Idaho, and he pokes that one away from Robinette. Next game up at approximately 5 o'clock. Probably will start a little bit after that, 20 minutes after the conclusion of this game at a minimum. Number 7 seed Ottawa University of Arizona, OUAZ. O'Neal on the offensive glass for 2 against 11th seeded Southeastern. And number 1 seed William Penn and number 4 Montana Tech. The nightcap tonight. We'll switch over to the right-hand side of the bracket tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock Central Time again. 3 full days of basketball here in Kansas City to start your week. Brooks misses, and the rebound batted away last off of the Yotes. Wyman having a little conversation with the official. On Tuesday, Georgetown and Langston. Langston, one of the teams that has had a particularly lengthy absence from this tournament. Having qualified for the field since 2018. Tied for the longest absence of anybody still standing here in Kansas City. Brooks couldn't get there. LZ has 16, and the lead has reached 30 for the first time. A 31-point advantage for the Yotes. Snow, Thomas, tied up by O'Neal. And here's Elzy getting right to the rim. Brooks came over, couldn't get there. Charles Elzy on 6 of 9 shooting, including a couple of threes, pair of free throws, has 16 points to go to 3 rebounds. And match changes now for the Yotes. O'Neal stays on. The other 4 come off. But if anything, they just got better after this change in the first half. Morgan, Rogers, Radford, and Wilson on the floor now for the College of Idaho. And Fooms' 3 is too strong. Snow over Wilson. Tough finish. Stratton Rogers, 2 in white, is the only Yote who has not yet scored among those who have been on the floor. 10 players have appeared, 9 have scored. Morgan doubled. Here's O'Neal. Steps through a little contact, goes over Brooks in an offensive foul. Colby Blaine and the College of Idaho cheering section was not thrilled. They thought Brooks was going down before the contact. Did look like he got to the spot first. Wilson rejects Snow. In transition, it's Morgan to the rim. And he has 9 points. Has not missed from the field, although he did miss a couple of free throws. Back out to a 31-point Yotes lead. Snow comes open for 3. Off O'Neal's hand, and Brooks shields the ball out over the baseline. And LSU Shreveport will keep it out of the timeout. Wilson the block, and the Yotes have been very good in transition, converting into points. Morgan at the other end. It's a 31-point advantage for the number 1 overall seed. All College of Idaho today in Kansas City. And they have a sizable contingent who made the trip down as well. So those people certainly very grateful not to be headed home right away. Snow off the steal. Good finish. Devontae Snow has had a nice start to the second half. Four points now for Snow to go with 4 boards. There's Morgan. Rogers. Morgan on the drive, tough floater, offensive rebound Wilson, and a fresh 20 for the Yotes. Radford had it stripped by Thomas. Brooks pulls up just inside the foul line, caught the heel. Carpenter the rebound, saves it to Brooks. Snow attacks, got airborne, and got a little bit of a bailout whistle. Not sure Snow really had much of a plan there. But got the whistle hanging in midair around the right elbow, and he's at the free throw line for the second time. Colby Blaine is getting a little vocal over there in front of the College of Idaho bench. As Snow was waiting to shoot there, he had a lot to say. And Kyle Blankenship was looking at him like he'd heard maybe about enough. I think the timing of it, particularly as Snow was trying to shoot a free throw, maybe rubbed Blankenship the wrong way. Obviously, there's the context as well of, at the time, a 28, now 27-point lead. Snow denies Handren inside. Rogers on the follow couldn't get it, and Foom lost it out of bounds. And the College of Idaho would keep it. Radford pressured by Carpenter. Step back jumper. Rebounded by Foom, this time sure-handedly. Carpenter caught in a tough spot, terminated the dribble on the baseline. Foom, tough step back triple. Too strong, and the rebound of Morgan. Yotes in transition. Handren ends up with a wide open layup. And a lot of that for the Yotes today. And they have played suffocating defense at this end. Another miss. Shreveport is 1 of 10 from 3 and shooting under 25% from the field. 9 of 37. On top of that, they turned the ball over 14 times. 4 changes for both teams. Thomas and Foom sit down for Shreveport. Davis returns along with Washington. Meanwhile, for the Yotes, only Handren and Morgan remain on the floor. Wyman, Elsie, and Robinette back on. Wyman has the size advantage on Davis. Here's Elsie, the game's leading scorer. Carpenter cuts him off, a little bit unlucky. Carpenter just got his feet tangled up with Elsie. I'm not sure Carpenter knew a whole lot about it. But it did look like he just inadvertently tripped Elsie there. Carpenter was talking to the official. I think maybe he thought there were free throws coming there. But he had his back turned when that ball came in, recovered nicely, and Wyman just lost it out of bounds under pressure from Davis. And Shreveport gets it back. Stark contrast in the second half of this game to the second half of our first game today. In terms of the intensity level, not that either team is taking it easy. And an offensive foul called against Carpenter. Morgan maybe a little bit late to get there. Not sure he was really square, but Carpenter did have his shoulder down just a little bit, and in the end got Morgan in the chest. Foul goes on Carpenter, his 4th. With 11:40 still to go, he'll stay in the game. Morgan for 3. Rims out. Offensive rebound, Robinette off the mark. Another look, but Shreveport comes the other way. Carpenter, tough shot, and he got it. What was that shot? In transition with two guys right on him. Just pulled up and drained it. Just the second made three for Shreveport today. That was a really difficult shot by Calvin Carpenter. Only a 24% three-point shooter on it. Davis all over Wyman, who steps through and scores. DeQueer, right-hand floater, tough shot, he got it. Shreveport putting together a little bit more offensively these last few possessions. Whoa! DeQueer took a hard screen from Robinette and then grabbed the back of his jersey, and the official didn't call that either. 3 off the mark from Elsie. The officials are going to have to keep an eye on this because a game like this is always in danger of getting out of hand just because of the frustration that the losing team has. Got another look at the three-pointer by Carpenter. Not a very good three-point shooter this year, and he has Elsie and Morgan right there, and he just decides to go up over him. Sticks the three. Shreveport down by 26 with 10 and change to go. Morgan gets it back, wants a three. This one goes down. Samaje Morgan has a dozen. He is the third Yote into double figures, joining Elsie and Wyman, who have 16 and 11 respectively. Carpenter finds Snow at the high post. Good penetration, and then Davis and Brooks sort of got in each other's way on the offensive glass. It's 3-on-1. The lob for Robinette. One-hand stuff makes it 31 points again, the advantage for the Yotes. Davis inside. Tipped up, won't go, and the Yotes come out the other way. Morgan with O'Neal. Jake O'Neal to the rim. Timeout called by LSU Shreveport. 33-point lead for the College of Idaho, its largest today. And the Yotes, with 9:19 to go, have come awfully close to officially stamping their place in the quarterfinal. How about that stuff from Robinette? The three in double figures for the Yotes. Samaje Morgan, Drew Wyman, and Charles Elsie. 12, 11, and 16 respectively. And they have steered the ship, but everybody has contributed. Tyler Robinette also is in double figures now with 10 after he stuffed that alley-oop. And Stratton Rogers still the only one of the 10 Yotes to have appeared in this game who has not scored. He's only taken one shot, though. And there's Rogers on the steal, swiping that one away from the intended recipient, Washington. 17th turnover for Shreveport today, and Elsie gets to the rim for 18. Just a dominant performance this afternoon from the College of Idaho. They have doubled up Shreveport. Davis off a fake. O'Neal the rebound, and it poked out of his hands by Jalen Brooks. 8.5 to go. Another timeout on the floor with the Yotes up by 35 and cruising toward a quarterfinal date Wednesday against 6-seeded Tougaloo. (74-68) was the final earlier today. Tougaloo over St. Thomas. And at the moment, we're at 70-35. College of Idaho in front of LSU Shreveport. And it does not seem likely the Pilots have a comeback in them over the final 8.5. Wednesday, 1 o'clock Central Time. The final of the Naismith Quadrant to send our first team into the Fab Four, where the Naismith Quadrant representative will meet the Kramer Quadrant team at Friday, or at 5 o'clock Central Time on Friday. Elsie drives the baseline, a reverse. He'll go to the free throw line. Elsie has 18. He has made a couple of free throws in as many attempts already earlier. 75% free throw shooter. You wonder about who's going to slow the Yotes down. Nobody's come within single digits of him. There's a turnover. Here's Rogers. He still needs a bucket. And he's going to get a chance at the free throw line. 2 chances to be sure to get himself in the scoring column. But nobody's even gotten within single digits of the Yotes since Southern Oregon in Ashland in January. College of Idaho won that game by 6. Before that, a long string of double-digit wins since the home game against Southern Oregon. The only 2 teams in the Cascade Conference to have gotten, well, the only 2 games in the Cascade Conference decided by single digits for the Yotes were both against Southern Oregon. So really only 1 team has played them within single digits since the start of December. Outside of the conference, Providence of Montana played them within 6 points the day after Thanksgiving. And Northwest Nazarene, although in an exhibition, was within 3 points. Montana Western within 7, and of course Arizona Christian, the opening game in Glendale this season, back on November the 4th, a 4-point win for ACU. The Yotes follow that by playing OUAZ, who are coming up in our next game, the number 7 seed in the Kramer Quadrant. And College of Idaho won that game by 11. Here's DeQueer, he left it short. Rogers the other way, dangerous pass to Elsie, but it's all working for Elsie, who tips it to himself and hits the 3. Charles Elsie is unconscious, 25 points. 16 of them since halftime. Dangerous outlet pass, probably should have been stolen. Carpenter's 3 rattles out, Radford the other way. Elsie wants another. That one's off. O'Neal in the offensive glass is hacked by DeQueer, and it's going to be 2 shots coming up. But look at that sequence. Rogers had no business throwing this pass. Should have been stolen by Snow. Elsie tipped it to himself, takes 1 dribble and hits it. Like he's throwing the ball to himself in the backyard. Got to be a good feeling on a stage like this to have it working like that. O'Neal gets the free throw. The main thing we're tracking to this point, and I'm going to keep bringing it up until it happens, is Stratton Rogers hasn't scored yet. He did miss 2 free throws in a row while we were talking about something else. So got to get Stratton Rogers on the board. And Will M. Foom is the only player for Shreveport who hasn't scored, although they've only sent 8 men on the floor. The Yotes have sent 10. So a couple of free throws go down for O'Neal. And the lead is out to 42. As wide as it has been to this point. Dangerous bounce pass, shouldn't have been thrown. 19 turnovers for the Pilots, and LZ misses. That's the kind of ball that's been going down for him all day. He was 9 of 13 before these last 2 misses in a row, but still takes nothing away from the game that he has had, and he checks out for what might be the final time, gets a very well-deserved hand with his 25 points today. Morgan back on. Wyman wanted a lob from him. He drives away from Brooks, spins free of Thomas, and then lost it out of bounds. Only the 10th Yotes turnover as compared to 19 for Shreveport. Davis all the way down the lane for 2. Nicely done by David Davis. Give him 4 points. Only 1 Pilot in double figures. That's Jalen Brooks. He has 13. Nobody else has more than 6 for Shreveport. 4 Yotes are in double figures, and that doesn't include Johnny Radford. His 3 is too strong. Rogers on the offensive glass, saves it off of Davis and out of bounds. But Radford misses the 3 here, and you see Rogers, even though he hasn't scored, doing the little things. Throwing that one out off of Davis. Rogers works into the bucket, didn't get the call. Davis strips it out. Yotes keep it. But Johnny Radford, the leading scorer this year for the College of Idaho at almost 14 points a game, has only 3 points today, 1 of 7 from the field. Shows you just how balanced, how deep this team is. Not many teams at this stage of a tournament can go with virtually no production from their leading scorer on the year, Radford off again, and win by 40 points, which is how this is trending. Brooks for 3. And Miller fouled on the rebound. Make that Tyler Harris, I should say, who's fouled on the rebound. That is the 8th team foul on Shreveport, so Harris will shoot 2. He has only attempted 5 free throws the entire season. He's made 3 of them. And he's at the stripe for the first time today. Our next game will be about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this one. 7th-seeded OUAZ and number 11 Southeastern. This will set the College of Idaho up to play Tougaloo at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. That's 1 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday when we start our 3rd of 3 straight days full of basketball here in Kansas City. Brooks can't get the follow on the Davis miss. Snow attacks, blocked by Radford with a foul. Started at 1 today. We're almost at the midway point with 2 more games to go. We'll do the same thing tomorrow with the right-hand side of the bracket, the Dewar and Liston quadrants. Snow 2 for 3 at the line today. And then on Wednesday, we'll do it with the quarterfinals. That's probably the best day of the tournament in that it's you're still getting the spirit of this tournament and having the 4 games all in a row. And what makes it unique. But the quality is as high as it's going to get in that format with the final 8 teams in the country all playing on the same day. Then a day off on Thursday. There is Miller, or make that Harris, I should say, on the back door all alone. Good feed from Wyman, and Tyler Harris has 6. Snow steps in over Harris, who disrupted the shot and then grabs the rebound. He's provided some good minutes off the bench, he and Paul Wilson. Radford all alone and finally gets a 3 to go down. Timeout called by Kobe Blaine. Of the 30-second variety with the College of Idaho up by 45, 4:47 to go. That'll take us into a break. And we can see Tyler Harris again getting to style a little bit all alone on the back cut. Wyman finds him and a little two-hand stuff to make it a 45-point College of Idaho lead. College of Idaho up by 45 with 4:47 to go in our second round of 16 game today. 2 more to follow this evening and then 4 more tomorrow. College of Idaho starting to go a little bit deeper into the bench, and there's a 3 that goes down for Jalen Brooks, plus the foul. Goes on one of the new introductions, Brian St. Clair, redshirt freshman from Wyoming. Connor Cooper is also on, sophomore from Eagle, Idaho. I think, unfortunately, that might be the end of the Stratton Rogers dream. Whit Miller is on as well, redshirt freshman from Boise. Harris gets it to Cooper in the front court. Here's Miller with Miller all the way to the rim. Brooks wants another three. Rims out and rebounded by Hanran, the only starter still on the floor. In fact, he and Harris, the only players left on the floor, have gotten any significant time. Cooper, awkward-looking three. Brooks in transition on Sinclair. He's fouled. And Kobe Blaine still coaching his guys hard. Even with the Yotes up by 43 and under 4 minutes to go. So I hope you'll join us on Wednesday, right back here on the NAIA network, when the Yotes will be heavy favorites again against Tougaloo, whose zone I just don't think is going to work against the College of Idaho. They shoot it too well. They move the ball too well. Too disciplined on offense. Now, St. Thomas, I thought, just from shooting the ball poorly, was a little bit unlucky, but they did not do a lot to try to get Tougaloo out of that zone or try to take advantage of it. Just not a lot of creativity from St. Thomas today. I don't think that's going to be as much of a problem for the Yotes. You can just see how much movement they have. And the distribution from Miller to St. Clair for three. Brian St. Clair makes it a 45-point lead again for the Yotes, who are starting to sniff 100. Noah Yonker, the freshman from Alexandria, Louisiana, is in for the first time for Shreveport, along with Rayvon Smith, freshman from Baton Rouge. St. Clair thought about another three, pulls up, and banks it in. 5 straight for St. Clair. I can't recall seeing a blowout quite like this one in this tournament at this stage. Brooks for three. Snow couldn't haul in the rebound. Harris can. And Handran not able to save it. Let's get another look at that great ball movement. And a triple from Brian St. Clair out of the corner. Unselfish play by Whit Miller, who could have easily gone up with that. Instead, he set up St. Clair. College of Idaho, they shot the three ball pretty well. 10 out of 28, that's 36%. Right around what you'd expect for them for the season. Just do everything well at that end. They're disciplined at both ends. Brooks, contested shot, no sir. St. Clair in transition. Cooper wanted it on the skip pass. Whit Miller for three. There's Smith. DeQueer, a deep one. Rebounded by Miller. St. Clair, a little wiggle, gets inside, trying to skip it on the baseline to Miller, but intercepted nicely by Smith, who rotated over. He penetrates, got caught in the air, and couldn't connect with Keldon Schubert, freshman from Jefferson, Texas. He's not gotten a lot of minutes this year. Wide open Cooper. Three ball goes. Shreveport not even trying to defend at this point, and it's a 50-point lead on the triple from Connor Cooper, who has a funky-looking three-point release, but he's made 9 out of 18 this year, 50% in a small sample size. Yonker attacks, finishes with the left hand. Inside 90 seconds to go. The Yotes will need to be just about perfect if they want to get to 100 points. Probably only going to put up 2 more shots before the shot clock is dead. Cooper is in trouble and he's fouled. DeQueer and Smith had him in a trap. And there is Jalen Brooks. You feel for him because it was a great effort from him, especially as an individual. And I'm not sure there's anything Shreveport could have done. I mean, if they had played their best game, if they had been more disciplined defensively, especially in transition, if they had taken care of the basketball better, if they had shot the ball really, really well, they could have kept it closer for sure. They did not play particularly well. But I'm not sure that playing even their best, they could have made this a really tight game. It's 48 points. That's a lot of points. Smith with a minute to go. Pulls up at the foul line and scores. So hope you'll join us 1 o'clock on Wednesday for College of Idaho against Tougaloo. I wonder where you'd set that line after this performance with the way they played. 33 in a row for the Yotes, 15 straight by double digits. Tough finish inside by Handred. Nicely done. Would it be too much to say College of Idaho favored by, I don't know, 22 points, 24 points? I think you'd have to be at least 15, 16. But we'll see. Maybe Tougaloo can cause problems with that zone. Maybe there's something left they can do. Handred sets up Cooper. There will be one more shot here for the College of Idaho with the shot clock still on. They'll have a chance to get to 100. Inside a strip on Harris. Miller throws it up, couldn't get it. And the 100 dream will die, but the national title dream will live on. Schubert hoists a 3, and that is all. The College of Idaho Yotes blow out the LSU Shreveport Pilots in the round of 16, 98-50. Make it 33 straight wins for the Yotes. The last 15 by double digits. Another lopsided victory in a long string of them over the last month plus. And they advance to face 6 seed Tougaloo in the quarterfinals on Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central. In case you don't know by now, this is how the Naismith Quadrant looks. Tight win for Tougaloo coming from behind. A lopsided win for the College of Idaho, technically coming from behind because LSU Shreveport did lead 8-2. But from that point, the College of Idaho went on a 96-42 run for the rest of the game. And that was all for the Pilots. Congratulations to them on a good season. They ran into the buzzsaw of the unanimous #1 team in the NAIA. Charles Elsie led the way with 25 points. And 3 other Yotes scored in double figures. Nearly every player who appeared scored for them. A balanced, explosive, disciplined, high-flying, hot-shooting, impressive victory for the #1 overall seed. And they're moving on to the quarterfinals. College of Idaho wins it 98-50 over Shreveport. We'll be back in 20 minutes.